You already know how to work hard. That is not the issue. You log the hours. You push through the hard days. You show up when you do not feel like it. By every measure of effort, you are doing the work. And yet, at the end of most days, the work that mattered most, the strategic, business building, move the needle work, feels like it got the least from you. Your meetings got your sharpest thinking. Your email got your best hours. Your most important work got whatever was left. That is not a discipline problem. That is a scheduling problem. And today, I am going to show you exactly how to fix it.
Let's go! Design your day! Design your day! Design your day! Let's go! Design your day!
Welcome to Design Your Day. I am Scott Roberts, author of The Perfect Day Blueprint and founder of Lighthouse Coaching and Consulting. Every week, I give leaders, solopreneurs, and busy professionals the exact systems and mindset shifts to stop leaving performance on the table. Today, we are talking about energy scheduling, the single most impactful shift my coaching clients make. Not a new app, not a new morning habit, a completely different way of thinking about your calendar, one that will change how much you get done and how you feel at the end of every single day. Here is what is actually happening in most people's workdays, and I want you to tell me if this sounds familiar. You get a meeting request. You look for a gap in your calendar and drop it there. You get a task. You find an open slot and block it in. By the end of the week, your calendar is full and your schedule looks productive. The problem is that none of those decisions accounted for one critical variable. When is your brain actually capable of doing that kind of work well? Here is what the research tells us. Your brain does not perform at the same level all day. Cognitive science shows that most people have a peak analytical window of 2 to 4 hours, usually in the late morning, where their capacity for complex thinking, strategic planning, and deep creative work is at its highest. After that, performance drops, often significantly. Then, for some people, there is a secondary window in the late afternoon. When you schedule your most demanding work outside your peak window because that is where there happened to be a gap, you are not just losing time. You are asking your brain to run a marathon on a nearly empty tank. The work takes twice as long. The quality suffers. The frustration builds. That is the external problem. Your calendar is built for tasks, not for how your brain actually works. The internal problem is what this does to you over time. When you consistently underperform relative to how hard you are working, you start to believe the problem is you, that you are not smart enough, focused enough, or disciplined enough. So you work harder, you add hours, you skip recovery, and the problem gets worse because grinding harder does not fix a structural problem. You are not the problem. Your schedule is. I want to be straight with you about something. Before I built the framework behind the Perfect Day Blueprint, I ran my schedule exactly the way I just described. I scheduled based on availability, not on alignment. I answered meeting requests by looking for gaps. I put my most important work wherever it fit, which usually meant the late afternoon after I had already burned through most of my sharpest thinking on email and conversations. I was putting in long days and getting average results. Not because I lacked the skill or the drive, because I was working against my own biology and calling the result a discipline problem. The shift happened when I stopped asking what needs to get done and started asking when is the right time in my day for this specific kind of thinking. That question changed everything. It became the foundation of the energy scheduling principle I now teach every client inside Lighthouse Coaching and Consulting. The leaders and solopreneurs who make this shift consistently report the same thing. Not that they are working more hours, but that they are finally performing at the level they always knew they were capable of. Because for the first time, the right work is meeting the right brain at the right time. That is what energy scheduling does, and here is exactly how it works. The energy scheduling framework has 3 steps. You do not need to run all 3 at once, but by the end of this episode, you are going to know exactly how to start. Step 1. Map your personal energy curve with RescueTime. You cannot schedule your energy until you know when your energy peaks. Most people think they know. Most are off by at least an hour. RescueTime is a background tracking app that automatically records everything you do on your devices: when you are in deep focus, when you are context switching, when you are in meetings, and when you are drifting. After 2 weeks of passive tracking, it gives you a precise picture of your actual performance rhythm. Not what you assume it is, but what the data shows it to be. Look at 2 weeks of your RescueTime data and find 3 things. First, your peak window, the 2 to 3 hour stretch where your focused sessions run the longest and most consistently. Second, your trough, the window where focus drops and you gravitate toward easier work. Third, your secondary window, if you have one, typically late afternoon. That is your personal energy map. Write it down. Everything you build from here gets anchored to that data. Step 2. Assign every task a cognitive category. Now you need to know what kind of thinking each task actually demands, because not all work is equal, and not all work requires the same brain. Sort every recurring task in your week into one of 3 buckets. Bucket 1. Deep cognitive work. Strategy, writing, creative work, complex problem solving, product development, client strategy sessions. This is work that requires your full, uninterrupted analytical capacity. It belongs in your peak window and nowhere else. Bucket 2. Communicative work. Email, Slack, client calls, team check-ins, feedback conversations. Important work that uses verbal and social processing rather than deep analysis. It belongs in your mid-energy window. Bucket 3. Administrative work. Invoicing, scheduling, routine research, content posting, tool maintenance. Necessary but low cognitive. It belongs in your trough when your brain needs the least to function effectively.
Here is the hard truth. Most busy professionals have this completely reversed. Meetings fill the morning because those are the requests that arrive from other people. Deep work gets pushed to the afternoon because that is what is left, which means the work that matters most gets the brain that is running on fumes. Energy scheduling flips the order. Deep work goes first, in your peak window, every day, before anyone else's agenda has a chance to fill it.
Step 3. Use the Motion app to build your energy-aligned schedule automatically. This is where the tool does the structural work for you. Motion is an AI-powered scheduling app that goes beyond a standard calendar. It does not just show you what is scheduled. It actively manages your schedule, automatically arranging tasks and meetings based on priority, deadlines, and the energy windows you define. When something changes, it reorganizes. When a meeting request comes in, it routes it to the right window instead of dropping it wherever there is a gap. Here is how to set it up for energy scheduling. In Motion, designate your peak window as protected time for deep cognitive work only. No meetings, no calls, no interruptions. Set your communicative work to fill your mid-energy window. Let administrative tasks populate around the rest. The result is a living calendar that automatically reflects how you perform best. Your most important work gets your sharpest hours every single day without you having to manually defend it against every incoming request. Motion holds the structure while you do the work. This is what it actually means to get more done in less time. Not working faster, working at the right time with the right kind of energy on the right kind of task. That alignment is where real performance lives. I want to name what keeps happening without this shift, because I think it matters. When your schedule stays built around tasks and availability rather than energy and alignment, the same cycle continues. Your most important work keeps getting your most depleted hours. The gap between your effort and your output keeps feeling wider than it should. And the quiet narrative that you are somehow not performing at the level you are capable of keeps playing in the background. The leaders and solopreneurs who stay in that cycle are not there because they lack skill or drive. They are there because nobody ever showed them that the structure itself was the problem, that the calendar they built to help them perform was actually working against them. You now know the structure is the problem, which means you also know the fix. Here is what your workdays look like when energy scheduling becomes your default. You sit down to your most important work during your peak window, and it flows in a way it rarely did before. Not because the work got easier, but because your brain is finally meeting it at full capacity. You finish your deep work sessions feeling accomplished rather than depleted. You stop looking at your calendar at 4 p.m. and realizing that the thing that mattered most did not happen again today. Over time, the output of your best work improves consistently. Your confidence in your own performance returns. The business you are building gets the sharpest version of you, not the leftover version. And the gap between your effort and your results closes in a way that makes the work feel worth it again. That is available to you, not someday, starting this week. Here is exactly what I want you to do. 3 steps. Start today. 1. Install RescueTime today. Let it run for 2 weeks without changing anything. Just collect the data. 2. While it runs, sort your weekly tasks into the 3 categories: deep cognitive, communicative, and administrative. 3. At the end of week 2, identify your peak window and block it for deep work only. Protect it for 2 weeks and watch what happens to your output. That is it. 3 steps, 2 weeks, 1 protected window. Start there. If you want the full energy scheduling system inside the perfect day blueprint, including the night before planning sequence that sets your peak window before the day begins, and the weekly review that keeps your energy map accurate, grab your copy at lighthousecoaching.me. The link is in the description.
And if you are ready to do this work with direct coaching support inside Lighthouse Coaching and Consulting, book your discovery call at lighthousecoaching.me. I work personally with leaders, solopreneurs, and busy professionals who are done leaving performance on the table. That link is also in the description.
Before you go, do 3 things right now. Subscribe to Design Your Day so you never miss an episode. Leave a review so more leaders and solopreneurs find this show. And share this episode with one person in your world who is working hard but feeling like the results still are not matching the effort. That person needs this framework today. Stop scheduling tasks. Start scheduling energy. Your best work is waiting for the right window. I am Scott Roberts. This is Design Your Day. I will see you in the next episode.
Design your day.